Which one of these three smart weighted hula hoops right here is the best? I'm Hoopsmiles, and I'm gonna review and compare these three smart hoops in this video. Now, both this pink hoop and this blue and white hoop, or hoops similar to these hoops, have shown up in multiple of my previous videos, so it'll be interesting to see how these two hoops compared to this purple smart hoop, which is the Swiss Activa S2 XXL hoop. First off, all three of these smart hoops have an adjustable cord length. All three of these hoops have heavier weights, with the pink hoop and the Swiss Activa hoop weighing somewhere around 15 ounces, and this blue and white hoop with the ball weighing at over 12 ounces. These hoops appear to primarily be made of plastic, and they seem more durable than many of the smart hoops I showed earlier in this video. Okay, so it looks like we're making some progress here. Now, a difference between these hoops is both the blue and white hoop and this pink hoop right here have these little buckles that you can just unbuckle to take the smart hoop apart. Whereas the Swiss Activa smart hoop doesn't have any buckles, and you just have to pick a spot on the hoop to disconnect the links. I don't feel like this hoop not having buckles is that big of a deal because it wasn't too difficult to get this hoop on and off. In some cases, having buckles on the hoop may be a disadvantage because if you don't buckle those hoops in properly and then you give that ball a spin, there is a chance that the smart hoop could disconnect and then the ball just flies out. Oh, now I don't think that one is fully clipped in. So when it comes down to it, having buckles may be an advantage or disadvantage depending on how you look at it. Another big difference in these smart hoops is the flexibility in the body of the hoop. So when I open up the pink hoop, look how far I can bend this hoop. It's pretty similar with the Swiss Activa hoop too. It bends pretty far. And when you have these hoops that are a little bit more flexible like that, they can be much easier to get on. Whereas if you look at this blue and white hoop and then I pull it apart, this is pretty much as far as it will go. So it's not as flexible. Now, just because a hoop is not as flexible, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not as good. I have used some very rigid hoops that aren't as flexible, and sometimes that extra rigidity can make the ball spin around smoother. Now, one of the big complaints out there about smart hoops is the noise. So I wanna go ahead and test these smart hoops and see how loud they are. I do have a decibel meter app on my phone that I will be using to test each smart hoop. As you can see, the Swiss Activa hoop was the quietest hoop of these three right here. It was also the least annoying and most pleasant to listen to out of these three hoops, if I can even use that word. Whereas these two hoops, they were a little bit too loud for me, especially this blue and white one. I feel like it's the type of sound that I just really wouldn't want to listen to for an extended period of time. So if you are a person who's more sensitive to noise, then you may not want to get these two smart hoops right here. Now, when it comes to comfort and how it feels wearing the smart hoop on the body, I do feel like the Swiss Activa hoop is the winner for me, partly because if you just look at the differences compared to the pink and the blue and white hoop, the pieces are just much more bulky. And so for me, I just don't really want to be wearing this big bulky thing around my waist. I prefer having the frame of the hoop smaller and having the weight heavier. Also, a problem with this pink smart hoop right here, when I had this thing on my body and I had the ball spinning around, I noticed that with every spin, the smart hoop itself, the frame of it, was kind of moving with each spin around my belly. Now, that's something that's not supposed to happen. And the reason why I bring that up is because I feel like that's an advantage that potentially the Swiss Activa hoop has and this blue and white hoop have, is if you look at the pieces up close, you'll notice that both the blue and white and the Swiss Activa hoop have these little bumps on the inside of each piece. And so that's the part that's going to press up against your body. My theory is that those bumps help to grip to your body, which can possibly keep the smart hoop more in place as you're spinning it. And then if you look at this pink one here, it doesn't have those little bumps. When I just feel that inside piece, it feels much smoother compared to the pieces of the other hoops. I feel like that could be a problem because I don't want to be spinning the Smart Hoop around and having the frame of the Smart Hoop also going around my belly as well. Now it's time to test for smoothness and see which one of these hoops has a smoother spin. Now there is a test that I call the smoothness test that I would like to try on these three hoops. How the smoothness test works: I first get the ball spinning at a reasonable speed. Then I stop moving my body to see how long the ball can glide on its own without my help to make it spin. I will use a stopwatch on my phone to track the glide time of each Smart Hoop. I'm gonna start out with this pink hoop first. So I'm gonna go ahead, give it a spin. And then once I get it spinning to an average speed, I'm going to stop spinning right now. And now I am counting the glide time with the stopwatch, and it stopped. Okay, so it was 5.9 seconds. That was the glide time. Now it's time to test the blue and white hoop. So I'm gonna go ahead, spin that around. So I'm going to start right now. And it is going, and stop. All right, so the glide time for the blue and white hoop was 4.5 seconds. Now it's time to see how this Swiss Activa hoop performs. I'm gonna go ahead and start the test right now. Okay, I'm just gonna let it glide. Let's see how long it goes. All right, it's still going, Stop. Okay, 8.5 seconds. That definitely was better than the other hoops. Now, something I will add, the smoothness test may not always predict how smooth a hoop spins while actually moving your body to make the ball spin, but in the case of these three hoops, Swiss Activa definitely came out on top in this test. But in terms of overall smoothness between these three hoops, I definitely preferred the Swiss Activa over the other two. When I was using this one right here, while it was spinning around, it didn't have the smoothest spin, yet it wasn't the worst spinning either. But then I really started to notice the lack of weight in the ball. So that is something to think about with this hoop. I wanted more weight in the ball. Overall, this hoop is not for me. When it comes to this pink hoop, I felt like it was really crunchy as the ball was spinning around, if that even makes sense. Like with each spin, there would be like this crunch or something. It felt the least smooth out of these three. Also too, when using this hoop, I did feel it more in my knees. It felt like there was more pressure in my knees. So that is something else to think about with this Smart Hoop here. Now, another thing that I really like about the Swiss Activa hoop is that it came with 4 extra pieces in the box. Time out, I'll get back to the video in just a moment here. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge it has been over a year since I was diagnosed with cancer. I'm currently on chemotherapy, so it just really means so much to me that you're tuning in to watch these videos. Something that this has taught me is just life is so unpredictable and it can be so short and you just don't even know it. And so I feel like you just have to follow your dreams, what you want in life. And something that I want for this channel and a dream that I have is to reach 100,000 subscribers. And I would love it if you could subscribe to my channel and, like this video, comment on this video, whatever to support this channel. I would absolutely love it. And you would be helping me to fulfill one of my dreams in life. So thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video. Now it's time for the big question in the video. Which one of these three hoops without counters is the best? Hop down to the comment section and let me know your opinion. In my opinion, I feel like this is an easy question to answer. This Swiss Activa S2 XXL hoop, I feel like is the best. I just feel like it outperformed these two hoops in many ways. And it comes with some great features. In terms of these two hoops, I feel like they're just okay. I don't feel like they're that great. But yeah, I feel like these two hoops are really lacking for me. And I feel like the Swiss Activa hoop here addresses some of the problems that both of these hoops have. And if you are interested in getting the Swiss Activa S2 XXL hoop right here, you can do so by visiting the links in the description of this video. Also, Swiss Activa is giving my audience a special discount if you use my coupon codes, which are also located in the description of this video. If you do buy through those links and use my coupon codes, it does help to support this channel. So thank you so much for your support. Just so you know, this video was not sponsored, but the majority of the footage in this video did come from a longer smart weighted hula hoop comparison review, which was sponsored by Swiss Activa and was released on my Hoopsmiles channel. If you want to watch that video, you can click right here. If you want to watch some more smart weighted hula hoop videos on this channel, you can click right here. Thank you everyone for watching. Until next time, enjoy.